Howdy folks, you probably have a lot of questions about this vehicle, which is the 2024 Chevrolet Blazer EV. And this one is the LT. The LT is sort of where we all start, at least for right now. Who knows what they're going to do in the future. Now this one, which is an example, is an all-wheel drive version. There will be a front-wheel drive one coming out a little bit later. But what I wanted to do in this video was talk about some of the dimensions of this, because some of you might be surprised. I mean, the wheelbase is huge. It's almost that of a Tahoe. The overall design of the vehicle, obviously it looks a lot different when you have the smaller wheels on there, which have the chunkier tires. But check this out. This thing is, well, let me put it to you this way. The exterior dimensions of it, the wheelbase is 121.8 inches long. The width, 78 inches. The height, 65 inches. That's like the one thing on this that's not crazy because it's actually pretty low. In fact, it kind of reminds me of a hatchback in terms of its height, not so much an SUV. Ground clearance is 7.9 inches. That, my friends, won't bode well for off-roaders. However, they did include additional numbers. So approach angle is 19.1 degrees. Departure angle is 23 degrees. And so if you add that along with the fact that it's, well, less than 8 inches off the ground, I think you'll agree with me that this is not an ideal vehicle for boulder bashing. I know that some of you with the previous Blazer were a little upset about the fact that it really wasn't meant for off-roading. Well, yeah, same with this one. I bet you're wondering whether or not this is larger or smaller than the Equinox, which is coming soon. And the Equinox is sort of the value leader, at least currently, with this new batch of Chevrolet crossovers in this class. The answer is, this is bigger. And it certainly is longer in terms of wheelbase. But if you look at the front end, you're going to be seeing the brand new face of Chevrolet. You've seen hints of it before with the EUV version of the Bolt. Well, that is a more pronounced version right there. Now, is it an SUV? Can it tow 10,000 pounds? No, but in this form, it can tow 1,500 pounds. Now, I believe the rear-wheel drive version of this will be able to tow up to 3,500 pounds. At least that's with the information on hand. Now, here's an interesting little tidbit about this vehicle. There will be an all-wheel drive version. This is all-wheel drive. There'll be a more powerful all-wheel drive version. There will be a front-wheel drive version and a rear-wheel drive version. So you have a variety of different vehicles you can choose from in terms of whether or not you want it to be a performance all-wheel drive vehicle, or perhaps a day-to-day driver with all-wheel drive, or if you want rear-wheel drive, we're in California right now, so good place for that, or front-wheel drive. Those are the options, which I don't know of any other car company that's currently giving you that many drive options. But there's a lot going on underneath. Now, first of all, the new Ultium platform, well, it's definitely here. And that's one of the reasons why you have this massive wheelbase. I mean, once again, it's just really long. And that skateboard platform can underpin several different vehicles, not just for the Blazer. So the Equinox has a smaller version of it. Then, of course, you have the Chevy Silverado, which we've recently driven. And that has obviously a much larger one. So let's talk about a few more numbers while we're looking at this. Now, keep in mind, this vehicle is not a driver, so we're not going to be driving this particular one, although I am tempted to steal the keys because it looks kind of cool, like all Stormtrooper-like. Headroom inside, 40.9 inches. That's in the front. In the back, it's 38.1. Legroom is 44.2 inches in the front, and the back is 38.9. Shoulder room, 58.7 inches in the front and 58.3 inches in the rear. It's actually, yeah. So we're going to take a look at the interior. It's just there's a bunch of Chevrolet running around here, and I want to make sure I don't upset any of them. So let's take a look-see in there. And I'll sit on the other side so you guys can see. Of course, the question is, will the big fat guy fit? And most likely, back here, the answer is going to be yes. Check this out. Yes. Actually, yeah, headroom is a little tight. I took the hat off So now it's just the bald head, and even with the bald head without the Roman hair, he and I swap wigs from time to time. It's a little tight. A lot of leg room, tons of leg room. Shoulder room is really good. You do have these vents back here. I really do like the vent design. Isn't that pretty? That's very kind of Camaro-like. Here's the thing, USB-C only. I'm not seeing any cup holders down here. However, you do have them here in the armrest. So if I put the armrest up, yep, it's actually some decent room back here width-wise and lengthwise. But because of that low ceiling, yeah, if I were any taller, headroom would be compromised. Let's look at the front seat. So this is a 17.7-inch screen, and this, I believe, is an 11-inch screen in front of me. Now, I've had screens like this before in other General Motors vehicles of different sizes, but essentially, this is the layout they're looking at. So they have this canted towards the driver, of course. It's interesting, this actually sits lower than I anticipated. And even though I have, oh yeah, the headroom is much better sitting here, but then again, I have seats that I can move around. Now, if I do this all day long, I wonder if I'll drain the battery if I keep moving these seats around. Okay, a couple things I really wanted to point out, because this is something that General Motors does that I really do like. Physical controls. So you have physical controls for the heating, air conditioning system, which now made it go crazy. Sorry, Zach, I can turn that down right over here. You do have actual physical toggle switches, once again, for the heating and air conditioning system. Once again, very happy about that, but that's where it stops, right? So everything else is up here on the screen. Well, that's interesting. It decided to honk at me. Let's take a look at some storage. Here we go. So you have a wireless charging right here. Glove compartment, decent size. It's not even a shelf really, is it, Zach? This is just more of like a little design element. I don't think you can really store anything in there. Here we go. The handle is cleverly hidden here from apes like me. And then you have a relatively deep but very narrow storage area here with USB-C. There you go. For those of you who want to plug in, you do have an additional plug. So, yeah, it's not all that different than the gas version of this, technically speaking, in terms of the layout, except for, I will say that physically speaking, inside this interior, it does feel a little bit less premium, and that's probably because I'm in the LT. That makes sense. And with that, I believe these seats are their fake leather. There's a specific word for it. It's like, I don't know, something text or something like that.
Leatherette, basically.
Leatherette, thank you. But they're actually relatively comfortable. And just wide enough for my large butt. And the length of the seats is okay. Seat backing is okay as well. So altogether, front seat comfort, pretty good. And I've got good headroom. Hey, let's wrap this up outside. Wanted to talk about a couple more things. All right, so prices as tested with this vehicle. This is the 2RS. Oh, with the if you get the 2RS all-wheel drive included version, that's $60,215. The LT, as it sits here, is less.
$57,710.
$57,710. And remember, this is the all-wheel drive version of it, so it would stand to reason that it'll be even less expensive with the front-wheel drive base model version, but I don't have that pricing on hand. Okay, guys, so this is the first of many videos that you're going to be seeing in the near future. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you next time.